My name is Henry Scott, and I am in the studio while my wonderful co-host
Thom Hutchinson
is at home with a slight delay.
Yay! Sorry, do you know what it is? It sounds live to me. Like it sounds like I'm responding straight off the bat, but I think my Wi-Fi might be a little bit suspect because I do apologise. The reason you might hear something in the background, Elise is actually practicing for her live Zoom workout class tonight, so you might hear a bit of music. So I've had to shut the door and everything. So that's kind of the reason why.
Elise, your flatmate, right? Not on any other Elise. Just we have
to.
Yeah. Not all our listeners know that you've got a flatmate.
Yeah, basically, it's my housemate Elise is she's a personal trainer. I think everyone knows her as the Mancunian Motivator. She's been on the show back when I was a guest.
Yes.
At the start of the year. So she's where she's been injured. She's trying to think of a different way of actually doing workouts for people who are less able to do high intensity and things like that. So she's practicing that at the moment, and that's currently down in the dining room, which is also the workout studio. And I'm up here in the bedroom.
Listen, Tom, I've got to ask, right? How's your week been? Me and you need to have a little bit of a catch up before we jump into the news, because obviously it's lockdown now. How have you been finding it?
It's been a bit odd, really. I mean, I'll be honest. I miss coming into the studio with you and actually doing it live. I won't lie. It's not the same. Although I won't lie, it is quite nice actually sitting on the bed and chilled and relaxed. But it's not the same. It's not the same.
Well, I mean, next week you'll be here and I'll be in my room. So
I know. It's heavy. Well, I know, but it's I can only hope that in a month's time or now 3 weeks' time, we'll be back in the studio. This will have all died down a little bit, and the numbers will have dropped, and hopefully lockdown will have done its job. That's the main thing.
Indeed. Do you know what? This week is actually very, very good. As I would say, it's all looking up this week. We've got plenty of news to go through. Probably the most important news is that Joe Biden has won the presidential election.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that is the correct reaction if you live in, frankly, I would say just about anywhere. But the whole world has frankly been celebrating this news. Just utterly joyous at the fact that Donald Trump has left or will be leaving the White House in 3 months' time.
Yeah, I mean, the latest sort of, I actually heard there was a press release from Donald Trump's camp, and apparently it's, I don't want to go! I don't want to go!
Do you know what's quite funny? So something that we should get straight into about Donald Trump and his press stuff is that Donald Trump has been now repeatedly talking about unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud, for which the US media, British media, and practically everyone around the world has been saying are completely unsubstantiated and is not true. Voter fraud in the US election it's not an issue. And what the Republican Party are trying to do is demonize the idea of mail-in ballots by saying that all the legal votes, i.e. all those who voted by person, will have their ballots counted. All the illegal votes will not be counted. And what they're trying to say there is infer and demonize the idea of mail-in ballots and mail voting. And in the UK, we use mail voting a lot. So what Trump is doing is essentially doing a huge damage to democracy at the minute.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, let's be honest, he's been doing a huge damage to democracy for the last 4 years, really, isn't he? I mean, it's slowly becoming a bit of a Dickensian state over there, isn't it?
Do you know what's quite interesting about that is any political party that in a democratic system will never win the popular vote, which the Republican Party has only won the popular vote in one of the last 6 presidential elections. Actually, more than that, it's 10. They've only won the popular vote in the last 10 presidential elections. And that is a big problem, because it will cause the Republican Party to take against democracy, which is what been trying to do through acts such as voter suppression, by reducing funding for polling stations, by reducing staff at polling stations. They have been doing all sorts of very, very, very bad stuff to not allow the number of polling stations to go up, despite an increasing population. So what you find at the minute in a lot of elections, especially in democratic areas, I might add, is people will queue for 5 hours or more just to vote.
I mean, it's a bit of a worry, because I don't mean this, obviously, again, we have to be unbiased. But let's be honest, the last 2 Republican candidates to actually get into the White House, they've not exactly been the best, have they? I mean, you've had George W. Bush and you've had Donald Trump. So, I mean, you have to sort of question, why are people voting for these people?
Controversial opinion. I personally think that You know what, Tom, just before I digress, that's actually a really good point, because what a lot of Democrats don't seem to accept is that 70 million people did vote for Donald Trump. 70 million people in the US like Donald Trump. They would prefer him as their president. Let's not get me wrong, though. I don't think anyone thought that voting for Biden or Trump was a perfect option. A perfect option would have been, a political candidate which doesn't make gaffe and racist slurs. And to be honest, that's from both of them. So the problem is that I think what a lot of Democrats need to understand is that they're just you can't say, stupid Republicans, because that, or like we say in this country, Tory scum, because that's not. If I was a conservative voter, for which I'm not. In fact, I don't particularly vote. Anyway, in the last election, I let a 16-year-old choose my vote for me, so he got to have a say. Genuinely, I hated last election because I couldn't vote for myself because I was living outside of the constituency I ran in. But yeah, no, I just think it's quite ridiculous, to be honest. It was the lesser of two evils, and for me personally, Biden is obviously the lesser of two evils. What I don't like, though, is that you'll get people on the Democratic side. It's like, let's not celebrate Biden's win. Let's celebrate Donald Trump getting out. No, you absolute moron. Because if you don't celebrate Biden's win, guess who's going to be running again in 4 years?
Exactly. And it does beg the question. I mean, I was saying to you just before we came on air about with regards to if Biden is going to be strong enough or healthy enough to actually carry out his full term, because there is always that umming and ahhing. Is he not mentally well? Is he, obviously what is he? Is he 77, isn't he?
He's quite old. And what I've got here on the screen with us is a Joe Biden's COVID-19 briefing. Now, I think personally it would be a really good watch, because I was watching this last night and it brought a tear to my eye, Tom. It genuinely did. Just let's all have a listen now. This is the end of Joe Biden's COVID-19 briefing.
Americans in our country is under threat. And now we're now called to do the same thing that generations of proud Americans have done when faced with a crisis throughout our history. Rise above our differences to defend the strength and the vitality of our nation. That's the character of patriots. That's the character of America. We have to do this together. Wearing a mask seems like a small act. Maybe you think your individual choice won't make any difference. But throughout the history of our nation, we've seen over and over how small acts add up to enormous achievements. It's the weight of many small acts together that bend the arc of history. I know there's nothing the American people can't accomplish when we work together as one people with one mission. We can get this virus under control, I promise you. We can rebuild our economy back better than it was before. We can address race-based disparities that damage our country. It's in our power. So let's wear a mask. Let's get to work. Thank you. May God bless you. And for all those who've lost somebody, our heart goes out to you. We know what it's like. Our heart goes out to you. May God protect our health workers, our healthcare workers, and all Americans. Thank you.
Now, could you imagine if Donald Trump did that? Just saying.
Like do that and be really presidential and lovely.
If he tried to do that press conference, it would be, we've got it all done. It's all done. You don't have to worry about it. It's all okay. Everybody's going to be immune. Everything's going to be fantastic. It would just be absolute chaos. He'd be trying to blame it on everything from China to South America. And it's a complete polar opposite of, with Joe Biden trying to bring everybody together and fight it together. It's fantastic.
Yeah, no, and do you know what? It's absolutely, that was it genuinely, I applauded and it brought a tear to my eye. I was so refreshed.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not enough words to describe how normal and safe that made me feel. And I didn't think that it was an issue. I just thought, well, what are you going to do? But now that it's actually standing in front of me saying, we can do this, we are American. I'm not an American, but I felt empowered by what he said.
Yeah, and that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to bring their fractured country back together. That's the thing. They've been broken apart the last 4 years.
Exactly, and it's for me. It's been so. Oh, I never thought that. I never thought Donald Trump was going to get in.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I still say it was the world's worst office joke that basically ran and ran and ran. That's what I think happened.
And no one took it. And you know what's worse? The Democrats never took it seriously, and that's why it failed so badly. Hillary never took it so seriously. She was always saying, Donald Trump will never be president of this country. Like she just brushed it off as it was
blew it off. Yeah,
as an office joke, and she was not prepared for the feelings of Americans against what is essentially the political establishment, because Donald Trump is very new and stuff like that. So it's just But do you know what I have to say? I've got a question for you, Tom. Do you think so? We got the news recently that Pfizer, the new vaccine, brilliant stuff. Very happy about that.
Here we go.
Very, very happy days. We're on the way towards normality. I'd say this is the beginning of the end of this pandemic. Hopefully, got to cross our fingers and hope and hope and hope. Do you think if they released we have a vaccine, it would have possibly won Donald Trump the election?
I don't know, because I think it would have depended on how much he had to play into it, if that makes sense. How much funding he gave and things like that.
He had no part.
So then I don't think it would have made any difference, genuinely.
It's interesting, and because I wonder, because even though Joe Biden has won by 5 million votes, he really only realistically won by 4,000 or 5,000 in key states that he needed to win. So if it was enough of propaganda, shall we say, from Donald Trump and the Republican Party, could they have swung it? That's a question which I don't want to know the answer to.
Yeah, I think the way we look at it is the fact that we've got a president. Well, they've got a president now who hopefully is going to actually start making a little bit of change and is going to heal that nation. Hopefully it can then extend out to sort of, the riots that are going on in certain countries. And I mean, let's be honest, I think they're kind of almost one stage away from going back into segregation again. It's when you see some things, it might just be the news hyping it up a little bit, but it is a bit of a worry. But, hopefully Biden can actually do this and make a difference, regardless of if he can do his full term or not, or anything like that. I think if he can just do good in however long he's going to be in office for, whether it's health reasons or whatever, if he does more good than Trump did bad in 4 years, if that makes sense, then his term will be deemed to have been a positive one for that country, And
the thing is, he might try to run again. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping him. You get 2 terms or maximum 2 terms, so he could always try again. But I'd say the one thing that did make me laugh. I mean, you know how social media loves to sort of, they'll find something.
Social media is a fun place, isn't it?
I know it is odd. Well, have you seen the entrance that Joe Biden did? Have you seen this?
No. What's this?
Right. So basically, at his first announcement or his first introduction as president-elect of the United States, he comes out on this massive runway and there's lights and there's the jog. Well, a couple of people around the world have taken this into different consideration, and they basically dubbed in loads of WWE wrestling themes over the top of it as his entrance music. So you've had everything from Kurt Angle, which is like the American hero wrestler, so he comes out. You've had you've had The Rock, you've had Stone Cold Steve Austin, so you hear and then there's just Joe Biden coming out with a jog, and it's so funny. So I mean, if anyone can hear us, just go and Google it. They're so stupid. It's only about 20 seconds a piece, but they're so funny.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So if you want something a little bit to lighten your day, I mean, Donald Trump actually got his own entrance. He was at WrestleMania 23 in the Battle of the Billionaires, so I always remember that. But now Joe Biden's effectively going to get his own wrestling entrance.
I can't believe the sitting president of a wrestling show for billionaires. It's just like,
I know. It was so stupid. It was
in America.
The loser was going to be bald. That's what WrestleMania was. It was the Battle of the Billionaires, and it was Vince McMahon versus Donald Trump. And it came down to they weren't wrestling, but they had a representative from each, from the superstars in the locker room. So I think,
ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be losing Thom Hutchinson there a little bit. I think he's got a bit of a dodgy Wi-Fi connection. Nonetheless, I'm still right here with you guys in the studio. But yeah, Donald Trump is frankly, in my opinion, been the worst president in the history of the United States. Economically, he's done a lot of good for a lot of Americans, and he's done a lot to help the Black African American community economically. However, I will say that Donald Trump, in my opinion, has been the worst president in terms of unity, in terms of divisiveness, in terms of eroding trust in a lot of American agencies such as the CIA, the FBI, the FDA. He's seriously done a lot of damage to a lot of things, and I'm very, very happy to see the back of him. Anyway, moving on, we recently got news this week which created a massive stock market jump. One that having my own shares in the stock market as a way to sort of prepare myself financially for the future. I bought my stocks in May, I believe, after the crash. And I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very happy today. Let me tell you, the entire there's an explosion of value. It's like the FTSE 100's up 5% in a day. All these stocks like BP, Barclays, they're all on a rise to I don't know, but just a rise to nowhere, up and up and up and up. I don't know how long that'll last, and I'm not the most favorable economist, but if you are looking for a way during this lockdown, perhaps you've saved a bit of money during lockdown, then maybe leave us a little comment, see if you'd like to hear some financial advice. We're happy to get some financial advisor in to talk to you guys about that. That'd be really, really good. And another thing we'd love is to get some comments from you. And if you how are you feeling about this lockdown? How are you coping? Are you self-isolating? Have you had coronavirus? We want to know all of this stuff. And so does also the local community. So which means you can call in on 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. Now, Thom Hutchinson, my co-host, is sadly still not come back to the studio just yet, but do not worry, as I will be here walking you through the next hour and 40 minutes-ish, hour and a half, and we'll be putting on some smooth sounds from all over the world. I've been getting my discovery on in my playlist this week, and also telling you about the hopes of a COVID vaccine coming up in the next segment. Yep. Coming up in the next segment. But in the meantime, we're going to pay the bills with we're going to make it rain vaccine money type here by putting on some lovely ads. Do stay tuned, as we'll be right back after this.
We're facing the biggest health challenge of our generation, and we've shown that together we're stronger than ever. But to keep making a difference, we need to support each other. If you're a man and you've had coronavirus recently, then you might just have the antibodies to help save lives in your blood plasma. That's why we urgently need men to donate. Giving blood plasma is safe and easy. Be the difference. Search Donate Plasma or call 0300 123 2323 today.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no-obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
ये आयशा है। ये बहुत छोटी सी थी जब इसके वालिद का एक हादसे में इंतकाल हो गया। वो अपनी माँ और छोटे बहन भाइयों के साथ रहती है। आयशा जैसी लाखों बच्चियां जिंदगी की बुनियादी सहूलतों से बिल्कुल महरूम हैं। यही वजह है कि वो स्कूल भी नहीं जा सकती। मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन ने आपकी एहतियात और अपनी खिदमत दुनिया भर के यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों के लिए वक्फ कर दी है। एक यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चे का सहारा बनिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए।
अभी कॉल मिलाएं 0300 3030 777 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
With over 40 years experience in the industry, Plastic Carpets is the place to go for all of your carpets, laminates, linos and wood flooring. We have an established network of suppliers, which means we can offer some of the best prices in town. We offer free estimates and now even free fitting. Call us now on 0208 472 8568 or visit us at 157 to 159 Plashet Road, Upton Park, London E13 0QZ.
The new NHS COVID-19 app immediately shows me the risk of coronavirus in my area, so I can warn Mel.
It lets me quickly check into venues with a QR scanner so I can protect Alid.
It tells me fast if I've been in contact with other app users who have coronavirus, so I can alert Emma.
It helps me protect all my loved ones, even Auntie Sue.
The more of us who get the app, the better we can control coronavirus.
Protect your loved ones.
Get the NHS COVID-19 app.
Download now at Google Play or the App Store.
Here at Duncan Lewis Solicitors, we specialize in immigration and family law. We have a proven track record of successful applicants who we've helped secure permanent residency for. From spouse visas to seeking asylum, our expert advisors will assist you throughout the whole application process. We offer a free no obligation consultation, so call us now on 0208 432 3350. That's 0208 432 3350, or visit us at 298 Romford Road, London, E79HD.
Revive FM 94.0 on the radio, on your mobile, and online.
Hello and welcome back to Revive FM. My name is Henry Scott, and you're listening to the Drive Time Show with my wonderful co-host
Thom Hutchinson.
It just doesn't work the same, does it? It's just because
I know. I'm sorry about the connection. Basically, I've had to shut the door, and it's like for some reason Wi-Fi doesn't penetrate wood.
Don't worry. It's absolutely fine. I think I covered very nicely while you were having your technical issues. Nonetheless, in the last break, me and Tom were talking about the US election. We want to know how you feel, which means you can call us in on 0333 444 0940. That's 0333 444 0940. We want to hear from you. We want to know all about it. How are you feeling about the US election? Are you happy, sad, crying, with joy, or are you just
indifferent?
Wanting to leave the earth anyway. Nonetheless, what I've actually done is I've gone to the Donald Trump Make America Great Again website, official website, because I was interested in this fundraising stuff they've got going on. And for a very short time, you can make, it's called the Official Election Defense Fund. President Trump needs you to step up to make sure we have resources to protect the integrity of the election. For a short time, you can increase your impact by 1,000%. With price matching from, it doesn't say actually who, which is quite odd. So I wonder who's price matching that. Because what some charities do is they have like the big give, where a wealthy proponent will match your donation. So if you donate 20 quid, he'll also donate 20 quid. Yeah. And they'll do this up to a certain amount. So I'm very interested to see who's backing that. But apparently this is a joint fundraising committee as participating committees for Donald J. Trump for president. And apparently this will be referred to as DJTP. So what I find
that sounds like a really, really, really bad like sort of PlayStation or Xbox username. DJPT.
TP.
TP. Oh God, it's even worse.
Toilet paper. Yeah. Something very interesting I want to point out here is that federal law requires us to collect and report the name, mailing address, blah, 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 blah. But this is where it gets interesting. 60% of each contribution first to Save America up to $5,000. And then after that to Donald John Trump's recount account up to a maximum of $2,800. 40% of each contribution will go to the Republican National Convention's operating account. And that is apparently due to pay down the RNC's debt. And that's up to a maximum of $35,000. And any additional funds will go to the Republican National Conventions for deposit in the RNC's legal proceedings account or headquarters account, up to a maximum of $200,000. Now, notwithstanding this allocation formula, a contributor may designate a contribution for a specific participant or participants in the Donald Trump campaign. So I find that most interesting. That
I mean, Just so basically, they've got no money for this legal proceeding, so they want you as a well-wisher to go in their legal campaign.
Interestingly, I think the reason Donald Trump is saying there's also a small part in the blueprint which more or less says any funds not used for recount or anything like that will get sent to the RNC to pay down campaign debt. Now, the reason this is actually quite interesting, I would say, is because Donald Trump may only be saying that the election has been frauded so that he can get his supporters spurred in the moment so the RNC can raise enough money to cover all its debts.
It's getting to the point now it's laughable, isn't it? But wasn't there the thing as well a couple of weeks before the election that Donald Trump was apparently taking, this is obviously we don't have the full information, but there were large transfers of cash from his presidential campaign going into his own private account. And it was something about like $2.4 million. So, could he maybe not just, I don't know, what's the word? Oh, yeah, give it back. Just a thought, because
I don't know.
It's very, it's getting to the point now. There's a sore loser, and then there's actually trying to, it's turning the whole Republican Party into a laughing stock, isn't it?
Well, to be honest, there's a lot of people like Lindsey Graham in the Republican Party, and I've heard him speak. I think he's actually quite an interesting bloke, to be honest. And I think he's quite a respectable politician. I don't agree with the vast majority of his policies, but when I heard him being interviewed and him having a conversation, I thought, do you know what? This is a sane politician. I think he'd actually be a not bad president.
Yeah. It's a shame really that they actually they had to field Trump again for his second term, didn't they? But I suppose they were probably thinking anybody else but.
Exactly right. I think it's probably time we move off the topic of America because I might start crying with joy. Exactly. So
whooping and hollering and shooting our guns in the air and looking at our cousins and going, nice.
We had absolutely lovely news this week when Pfizer, a biopharmaceutical company, announced that it had a vaccine that from phase 3 trials was 90% effective among humans in producing an immune response.
Yes.
Which essentially means we could be about to get out of this, people. We could be about to finish it. We could be about to start rolling out a vaccine for the most vulnerable in our society. So the government has so far procured enough Pfizer vaccine for 20 million people.
I heard today it's actually a third of the population. They've got enough for a third of the population at the moment. Yeah, so it's NHS frontline workers, the over 85s. They're the ones that are getting it first, apparently.
Yeah, and then everyone over 70, and then at high risk adults under 65, moderate risk adults under 65, and then you subsequently getting lower until we can get the general population and vaccinate everyone. Now, where the UK government's made a lot of, I would say arguably the UK government has made a lot of U-turns this year and a lot of mistakes in their handling of the coronavirus. And admittedly, that's quite a hard job to do. There's lots of principles involved as well, such as the Dominic Cummings scandal.
Would you fire me, Prime Minister?
Durham Gate, shall we say. What I think is very interesting is that where the government has actually been quite smart is they've invested in multiple vaccines. The government has secured 40 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine because it comes in 2 doses. So we've got enough for 20 million people. We actually have enough vaccine to do 300 million people in the UK. Which is pretty amazing. We're the front of the pack as well. We said to these pharmaceutical companies first, can we have it first? And a lot of them have said, yes, of course you can. Oxford University and AstraZeneca, who have partnered up to create the vaccine, will also make sure that the UK, are at the front of the pack when it comes to rolling that out.
Yeah, because there's 2 different types, isn't there? I remember reading about one that's got to be stored at -70.
Yes.
And then there's the second type
vaccine.
That's which one? Sorry,
the Pfizer vaccine needs to be stored at -70.
And then there's the Oxford Uni one. There's something else about that, isn't it? It only works for a certain period of time, or there's some little caveat with that. The same thing.
Yeah,
I can't remember that one.
But do you know what? I've just read this headline. Apparently, COVID-19 vaccination will not be made compulsory.
What? I mean, I very much beg your pardon. Really? It's not going to be compulsory.
Listen, I understand everyone has a personal choice whether to get vaccinated or not, but there has to be some sort of consequence in my mind for not getting vaccinated. Because let's think about this. A lot of people in this country voted for Brexit. No, I'm joking. I'm really joking. I'm not going down that whole route. No. A lot of people in this country, especially since the early 2000s, there's a lot of anti-vaccine sentiment. And for the first time in this country, measles is back. That's worrying because that means not enough people are going to get vaccinated. There's a lot of people who are like, I'm a naturalist. I don't believe it's fair. I do not. And do you know what I will say? Some of these people, and it's a very small minority, will say, oh, I'm not getting a vaccine. I don't want a vaccine. I don't want that put in my body. But yet you would happily go to a dealer named Kev and you'd buy, a gram of whatever and whoever off of him. And you don't know where that's been. You really know, there's not good stuff in that. But yet a world-renowned scientist comes in, says, look, I've got this amazing vial here. It's amazing. It's going to keep you safe and stuff, and you're thinking, oh, well, obviously he's going to kill me, isn't he? What? You're more likely to die
It's barbaric. It's so barbaric. But the other thing I think I heard today was that it's only effective for about 3 to 4 months when it's inside you. So you might need another. Yeah, there's a booster. Another dose.
There's a booster jab, apparently. The thing is,
it sounds like Pokemon almost. Yeah, you have to get booster packs.
They don't actually know how long the vaccine will create an immune response before, but if it reacts in any way like the coronavirus does, apparently you'll only have about 5 months worth of immunity, which means we could eliminate it from the planet, but only if we vaccinate everyone.
Yeah. So did you hear that, everybody? Get the jab done.
Yeah, I'm going to encourage all Revive FM listeners to get that vaccine, because I've got quite a funny story for you. My dad was, when I was about 3, my dad told me the story. He was speaking with his uncle David, who was a doctor. And this is about 2004, 2005, when the autism paper came out and said vaccines give kids autism, which was totally unfounded. It's been found as wrong and incorrect, and it's no evidence whatsoever to substantiate. And the bloke who's done it, I believe he's in prison now. Is that correct? I don't know.
So, yeah.
Either way, my dad was a bit concerned, obviously, because at the time it seemed like a very credible source. And this was a doctor who'd been in the medical profession for many years coming out and saying vaccines give your kids autism, for which many parents were like, which is
I'm not having it. Yeah,
exactly. I'm not having it. And my dad said to his uncle David, listen, hey, David, I'm a bit worried about this vaccine stuff, he said, Peter, I've got a really simple question for you. He's like, yeah, go on. He says, do you want your kids to die? And my dad said, well, obviously not. He said, well, then get the vaccine. Simple. There's no question, right? So I have to say to everyone, if we want to end this crisis, get the vaccine. If we've got a 90% effective vaccine and you vaccinate 100 people, right? Or you offer it to 100 people and all 100 of them take it, then that's 10 people who can still get coronavirus. But statistically speaking, if you get 100, if you offer it to 100 people and only 50 take it, then you're only getting 25. You're still having, what is it, 10 people who you're getting a bunch of people. What is it? Yeah, actually, no, my maths is completely off today. You'll only have around like 25, 30 people who will be immune to it. That's ridiculous. There's no point in it working then, because if not everyone takes it, then that's what herd immunity is letting everyone get vaccinated so that we can achieve herd immunity, which is at 75% of the population, I believe.
Yeah, and have you work. I mean, the next worrying thing is going to be this the Danish coronavirus. Have you heard about this? There's a mutated virus found in minks now.
I'm really concerned about that, because in Denmark, did you hear this? They're actually squabbling. The government is squabbling about the powers needed to engage in a vaccine. So they say, right, you need to cull off your mink. Right. And the government's gone, the opposition, there's a minority government in Denmark, by the way. The opposition's gone, no, we're not voting in favor of that.
What?
You're going to endanger the entire world with this stupid mink virus.
Oh, God. I have to question how these people get these jobs. Seriously. They're either shacked up with the right person, or they've got photos of the right person and they are threatening to release them. I mean, how stupid can you be? There should be no question. All right, I know there's a trade, but the fact is, this is a killer virus. It's got how many millions of people around the world? It's infected how many millions more? There shouldn't be any question about it. If something needs to be done, go ahead and do it. All right, get more minks. I mean, all right, it's the fur trade. I mean, that's another subject for another day. But like, just how stupid can you be? If you know this virus is absolutely in there, get rid of it. Get rid of your stock.
Yeah. No, it's yeah.
It's a worry.
It's ridiculous.
But it's nice that we've got a vaccine. I mean, hopefully this is now going to be, we're going to end the year on some good news, that it's going to make a difference. We're going to be able to go out. We're going to be able to celebrate Christmas or Diwali or whatever your denomination is going to be. Like this is it. This is the kind of the turning point that we've been waiting for all year, really, isn't it? Even since the first lockdown, when this, and even before when it started to come along, we've got a vaccine now, and touch wood, it's going to make a difference. So yeah,
you just can't seem to win at the minute, can you?
I know. I'll tell you what actually as well, because I'm going to have to go to a break in a minute. Speaking of winning and things like that, I had something flash up on my phone. It's not coronavirus related or anything, but it's actually to do with the FA. I don't know if you've heard about Greg Clark.
Yes, he's just resigned.
Just resigns. Yes, for the words that he used to describe black footballers. So he's basically decided now that he can't carry on in his job. I believe he was calling them coloured, which is just not on anymore. And
but hold on a minute. The reason I'm again, not the correct description for anyone, but I was watching the news and they said Kamala Harris has become the first woman of color. So
yeah,
what other denomination is he supposed to use? Again,
I know,
place to say, but thought comes to mind.
Yeah, it's like my nan used to say that. She always used to go, this colour guy. And she wasn't racist or anything like that, but she just said that was how it was. I mean, all right, that was back in the 50s and the 60s because it was a thing. But but it's still not on though. It's
of course. And obviously, the resignation is the correct thing to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the last thing that the FA needs at the minute. They're going through a tough time, just the same as the rest of us. And to have someone like that who's supposed to be the figurehead of the FA, you don't need anything like that. It's terrible.
Of course. Right, well, that brings us to the close of our next segment. Me and Tom are going to go to a short break, but do stay tuned as me and Tom will be right back after these messages.
क्या आपको मालूम है कि नूरा जैसी बच्चियां पानी के लिए रोजाना 3 मील पैदल सफर तय करती हैं? मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन को यकीन है कि आप छोटे और बड़े पैमाने पर पानी के मंसूबे लगाकर इस बहरान को खत्म कर सकते हैं। आपके एहतियात दुनिया भर के पसमानदा लोगों का म्यार जिंदगी बेहतर बना रहे हैं, जबकि अभी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है। पानी सबके लिए के प्रोजेक्ट में हमारी मदद कीजिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
I wash my hands to protect my family.
I wear a face covering to protect my mates.
I make space to protect my colleagues.
Hands.
Face.
Space.
I wash my hands to protect strangers.
I wear a face covering to protect other passengers.
I make space to protect you. Hands.
Face.
Space. As we spend more time indoors, we need to do whatever we can to help protect each other from coronavirus. So please, wash hands, cover face, make space.
Super Best Meze Grill, the Turkish restaurant where all our food is prepared to perfection. Our mixed grill family platters include lamb shish, Adana kebab, lamb ribs, chicken doner, chicken wings and lamb chops. And all are served with rice, salad, along with a selection of our cold mezes. To see our full menu, go to superbestmezegrill.co.uk. For the perfect dining setting, visit us now at 21 to 23 Broadway, Stratford, E15 4B, or call 0208 555 335. Super Best Meze Grill.
As winter approaches, here's a critical reminder of coronavirus symptoms from Dr. Gupta.
The main symptoms of coronavirus are a high temperature or a new continuous cough or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste. If you have any of these, to protect yourself and others, it is critical you isolate at home, even if you don't feel too bad. And you must book a test immediately. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert. Control the virus. save lives.
If you're looking for a unique bespoke cake made especially for your big day, then look no further. Here at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, we designed some of the most imaginative and delicious home-baked cakes for your special occasions. We do fresh cream, buttercream, eggless, and vegan cakes. Check us out on Instagram or Facebook at Sugar Sprinkle Cakery, or just call 07932 665 833. That's 07932 665 833.
We're facing the biggest health challenge of our generation, and we've shown that together we're stronger than ever. But to keep making a difference, we need to support each other. If you're a man and you've had coronavirus recently, then you might just have the antibodies to help save lives in your blood plasma. That's why we urgently need men to donate. Giving blood plasma is safe and easy. Be the difference. Search Donate Plasma or call 0300 123 2323 today.
With over 40 years experience in the industry, Plastic Carpets is the place to go for all of your carpets, laminates, linos, and wood flooring. We have an established network of suppliers, which means we can offer some of the best prices in town. We offer free estimates and now even free fitting. Call us now on 0208 472 8568 or visit us at 157 to 159 Plashet Road, Upton Park, London E13 0QZ.
Revive FM 94.0. On the radio, on your mobile, and online.
Hello, welcome back to Revive FM. My name is Henry Scott, and you're all listening to the Drive Time Hour with me and my wonderful co-host.
Thom Hutchinson. I'm trying to preempt it now. I'm trying to sort of get in a little bit sort of
Very nice, very nice. But remember, we want to hear what you're thinking, Ewan. We want to hear what you're thinking, Ilford and Romford, and perhaps all the way out to Woodford. We want to hear how you're feeling. How's the pandemic? What's going on in your life?
What's crack-a-lacking?
Exactly, what's crack-a-lacking? Which means you can call in on 0333 444 0940. I encourage our Facebook Live listeners to also drop a comment and a like.
Yes, remember, just because we are socially distant doesn't mean you have to be. I mean, in regards to contacting us, I mean, not obviously you have to be socially distant, but you get what I mean.
You know what? I've never thought of it like that. Now, I'm looking forward to The Crown coming out on Netflix. Are you?
Yeah, do you know what? I still need to watch part of season. I didn't find it as good. I didn't find it as good.
What, the third season?
Yeah, I still prefer the old cast. I know it sounds really bad.
I do like Claire Foy. I thought they were just going to put her in a fat suit and older her up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true.
She just made it her own, didn't she? I mean, she was
really good.
No disrespect to Olivia Colman, she is good at it, but I just don't feel the same warmth to him as I did. The only thing I will say is that Philip is better than Matt Smith. The second Philip is better than the first Philip. I will say that because to me, Matt Smith is still playing it as the Doctor.
Yeah, I thought Matt Smith. Yeah, I would agree with you because Matt Smith, his voice was too sort of high. It was like whereas he's got.
That's expecting just to go. Oh, Liz, have you seen this thing? It's all timey wimey and wibbly wobbly. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. Oh well, maybe Matt Smith is only good for one role. Anyway,
he was cut from his other role, wasn't he? He was supposed to be in Star Wars, and that never happened.
Now, listen, Tom, I've got to ask you: have you got any news this week?
I do actually. Yes, I mean it's going back onto. You'll be shocked to hear about this. The coronavirus. Don't worry.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Well,
that's quite strange. You should mention that because it's kind of falling out of fashion now.
I know. It's like next thing you know, it's going to be as old and outdated as yesterday's Danish mink. But we've got a
right.
Basically, it's to do with the turnaround times for testing. So obviously, the Liverpool rapid testing has been a bit hit and miss.
Yes,
but they are talking about rolling out similar schemes now across the UK. So. The first part of the Liverpool was the first part of the country to trial the mass testing for all symptoms. I'm trying to find the next bit here. Matt Hancock has now revealed that he's going to be aiming to roll it out to similar schemes across the UK. And he's put, and I quote here, this was to Sky News, "I can confirm that we are rolling out the sorts of mass testing that we are seeing in Liverpool. And indeed, we earlier piloted in Stoke-on-Trent and across 66 local authorities. Last night, I wrote to the directors of public health for all local authorities in England, saying that we would like to make available this brilliant new rack of tests that will give you results in 15 minutes. So 66 have expressed interest in the first instance. I'm now expecting a whole load more. If you're the director of public health and you haven't signed up on yet, please do let us know so we can get you on board. So basically these things can give you the you've got COVID in 15 minutes. So it's not bad going, really. I mean,
that's what we need.
Oh, sorry, what did you say there?
Sorry, this is the trouble of streaming from home. Obviously,
I know it's terrible. I'm getting to the point. I think I might actually need to, maybe the second hour, I'll need to go downstairs and be a bit near the router. But yeah, basically, it's what they're saying is that they're giving you response in 15 minutes now to tell you yes, you've got COVID and you need to self isolate, or you've got the all clear. So I think it's great that it's like another corner that we've turned. With regards to getting testing, and I think people are taking it quite seriously now. And I mean, I even went to Romford the other day, and I saw a little testing centre. This before lockdown, and the amount of people that were outside there wanting to get their test done. I think people are now getting into their heads that they need to get these tests done to prove that they are okay, and just to sort of remove any doubt from their mind or anything,
Yeah. Wow. Do you know what? I've not seen this, but the latest daily statistics is that we performed 276,000 tests in as of the 8th of November. So 2 days ago. That's really impressive data.
So is that since like the start of this whole thing?
Apparently the virus testing capacity is 517,000, but the virus protest daily are 276,000. So
we're still running under capacity then, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I find that very strange because surely more. Do you know what? Actually, it's just popped into my head. Some cases of coronavirus are asymptomatic, and you'll only have so many people per day who need a test. Like they'll present symptoms. So apparently, they said up to 70% of coronavirus patients, COVID-19 cases, are asymptomatic, which means which means the majority of the spreading takes place among young people, and then it goes to old people who get their symptoms. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you do sort of think, how many people have had it. I mean, especially when if you got figures like that saying it is asymptomatic majority, it's again that should also encourage people just to get tested.
Exactly.
Because you could be walking around and not knowing you have it, and if you have that sort of, I've got a bit of a headache, or this food tastes funny, or something like that. Go and have it done. It's definitely worth it. I mean, I found out that there was a not at the place that I work, but a pub further over. Someone there actually had it. They actually isolated for 5 weeks, or they were told to isolate for 5 weeks, so to get over the whole thing. But again, they didn't have any major symptoms. They felt a little bit lethargic, but they weren't too bad. So it does make you. It does sort of realize that it can just get you from anywhere. So if anyone can hear us, please just go and get a test. But just if it's available in your area, and any sort of any symptom or any sort of I don't know, I don't feel as good as I did before, just go and get it tested. Just rule yourself out.
I mean, an interesting fact about the Liverpool trial is that they haven't tested enough people per day to test the entire city, which was the aim. However, and so they're extending that pilot by longer. But so far, what they found is out of the 23,000 people they did test by encouraging people, even without symptoms, to go and get a test, is that the positivity rate was 0.7%. Now, the positivity rate in Liverpool with current testing measures, normal ones, before the trial started, was 0.3%, which shows 0.4% of people have coronavirus but did not know.
Yeah. And again, that's what makes you think, isn't it? That it's just how quick it gets around. You can see why the figures are so high when we get the sort of the daily updates of, there's 23,000 confirmed cases.
That number is much, much, much higher.
Yeah, I mean, but it is good to see again, I've got to watch that because it's going to sound morbid. It's good to see that the death rates are going back down again. We're back into the hundreds again. So since lockdown, I mean, I know there's always that Sunday because it takes a bit of time to come over to Monday. So then sort of Tuesday it affects it. But I think by the looks of it, it's been around about 150 to 180, 186 or something like that the last couple of days. So that's not bad. Bearing in mind last week we were at 500 deaths. That's so hopefully again lockdown is going to make a bit of a difference this time. I know we're not mad on it, but I don't mind staying in for a month if it's going to get the death rates down and sort of get things back to normal. So yeah, hopefully it will do.
I mean, hold on. I've just read something here as well. Is that in Liverpool, out of the 23,000 people tested so far, 154 tested positive, and of those 154, none of the 154 people had symptoms that tested positive.
So they were all asymptomatic.
All asymptomatic.
Jeez, now that is
exactly
shocking. That's absolutely shocking.
It just goes to show, because Tom, at the time, I didn't have any symptoms for a couple of days. And then I lost my sense of smell, and that was about it. And I thought, oh, maybe it's just a cold or something. Because at the time, that wasn't a symptom on the case list.
I know, it's so peculiar how it affects people in so many different ways, isn't it? Like you say, you'll have some who have, like yourself, like are asymptomatic and have no symptoms at all. You've got others who feel a little bit run down. And then you get people like, say, Kate Garraway's husband, who he's effectively got what they're calling now long COVID, where he's still struggling. And he was comatose for quite a while, and he woke up, and unfortunately the first word he said was pain. And he's had it now for about 6 months, I think, and he's just not getting any better. But then there's even poor people like Bobby Ball, who was 76, and he passed away really quickly after only having it for, I think, probably showing symptoms and going into hospital, and he passed away the next day. So it's it just affects so many different people in so many different ways, you know.
Exactly. And that's something that we've really got to watch out for. Well, listen, we're coming to the end of our show for the first hour. So I just want to sort of begin to wrap up here before we move into the what I would call the comedy news hour, where we sort of make light of it. I've got some great advice for all you listeners later. If you want to stay on the line, we're giving you how to stay positive and keep good mental health during lockdown crisis, which, I personally suffer from poor mental health occasionally. I currently am medicated for depression. Which I'm very happy to share. Because to be honest, do you know what I find really weird about the stigma of depression is that everyone's like, oh, he's got depression. It's really serious. I'm on antidepressants. I haven't felt sad in weeks.
See, I took them all happened to me when I started bouncing up and down in the Apple store. That's all that happened with me. I didn't find they made any help. So
but the thing is, that's different. It's all subjective, isn't it? It's all a different experience for everyone.
Exactly. But yeah, that's it. And I'm actually speaking when I can sort of get her at some point. Hopefully I'll be able to get Elise on, maybe not next week, because obviously I'll be in the studio. I don't know how they'll allow that, but maybe the week after we'll have her on the show as well and give some more advice as well. And then
do you know what's really good is next week we're actually going to have the National Health Service campaign on. This is a campaign for a national mental health service, which are a small campaign group who I think are based in Redbridge and /Hornchurch and Upminster constituency, who are campaigning for better mental health support. The average wait time at the minute is 6 months, so we look forward to talking to them next week on the show, and they'll be streaming into the studio like this.
Fantastic! I look forward to that. Yes, hopefully they'll have better Wi-Fi connection than I've got this week.
We've got to cross our fingers, don't we? I mean, hopefully I'll have good Wi-Fi connection next week. We've got to pray to the Wi-Fi god that our
well, I've just found out. Well, I've found out today that I'm actually going to be moving home at some point. So
lovely.
I'm already looking for other providers, because unfortunately my current one doesn't go out that far. So I'm going to be going to Brentwood probably by the end of the year or the start of the year. So I might actually have a proper home studio. So
very lovely, sir.
We'll see what happens. But cross that bridge when we come to it.
Cross the bridge when we come to it. Listen, me and Tom are going to be crossing a bridge now by going over into the ads section. See, I'm really getting good at this, sort of play.
I know, it's slick.
I'm always looking off for it. Anyway, me and Tom are going to pay the bills. Do stay tuned, as we'll be right back after these messages.
The new NHS COVID-19 app immediately shows me the risk of coronavirus in my area, so I can warn Mel.
It lets me quickly check into venues with a QR scanner, so I can protect Alid.
It tells me fast if I've been in contact with other app users who have coronavirus, so I can alert Emma.
It helps me protect all my loved ones, even Auntie Sue.
The more of us who get the app, the better we can control coronavirus.
Protect your loved ones.
Get the NHS COVID-19 app.
Download now at Google Play or the App Store.
Businesses,
time is running out. From the 1st of January next year, if you do business with Europe, you're going to have to follow new rules. So there are definite actions we all need to take now. More to do, I know, but it's work that won't be wasted. It needs doing no matter what. And we haven't got long. Less than 3 months and counting. Check what your business needs to do now at gov.uk/transition. Check, change, go.
I wash my hands to protect my family.
I wear a face covering to protect my mates.
I make space to protect my colleagues.
Hands.
Face.
Space.
I wash my hands to protect strangers.
I wear a face covering to protect other passengers.
I make space to protect you. Hands.
Face.
Space.
As we spend more time indoors, we need to do whatever we can to help protect each other from coronavirus. So please, wash hands, cover face, make space.
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah and Aqidah, we endeavour to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrolment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Romford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
Thinking about selling or letting your home? With Maxwell Estates, you don't need to look any further. Well established with over 15 years of experience, Maxwell Estates are specialists in residential sales and lettings. We manage over 200 properties in and around Northwest London, keeping our landlords and tenants updated with all the latest laws and legislations. Based in Edgware, our experienced specialist negotiators always ensure we maximize the full potential of your property. Call us now on 0208 952 0808 for a free no-obligation quotation, or visit our website www.maxwellestates.co.uk for further information. Maxwell Estates, the name you can trust.
This is an important update about coronavirus. To help save lives, new national restrictions are now in place until the 2nd of December. You must stay at home. Only leave home for food, medical reasons, exercise, education, or work. You must work from home if you can and avoid travel unless essential. Go to gov.uk/coronavirus for latest guidance and exemptions. Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk. Alternatively, contact our sales team now on 079 44 56 5616. That's 079 44 56 5616.
Revive FM 94.0. On the radio, on your mobile, and online. This is Revive FM 94.0 with the latest news from around the world.
And the abuse they take on social media.
England defender Tyrone Mings says Clark's comments prove there's a long way to go in education around diversity.
We all have a duty of care to understand what terminology you can and can't use. And if you fall foul of that, or there's a slip of the tongue, be man enough and brave enough to apologise for it. So I said it's not for me to condemn it. But like I said, we still have a long way to go, and this probably proves it.
The most senior Catholic leader in England and Wales has been accused of prioritising the church over survivors of child sexual abuse by priests. Cardinal Vincent Nichols has apologised after the publication of a damning report. NHS staff will be tested for COVID-19 twice a week under government plans. They'll have lateral flow checks, which have been used as part of a mass testing pilot in Liverpool. Boris Johnson has spoken to Joe Biden to congratulate him on his victory in the US election. There were concerns tensions between the two could be high because of disagreements over Brexit, but our deputy political editor Sam Coates says the timing of this call is significant.
It appears from the UK side as if Boris Johnson spoke to Joe Biden before many of the European counterparts. There was some speculation that Britain might slip down the ranking, just as it did, actually, it must be said, when when President Donald Trump was elected 4 years ago.
And Prince Charles is to attend Germany's main remembrance ceremony in Berlin this weekend. It's the first time a British royal's taken part in the event. That's the latest. I'm Kat Suave.
This is Revive FM 94.0.
Reviving communities.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Hello, you're listening to Revive FM. My name is Henry Scott, and welcome to the Drive Time Hour with myself and my wonderful co-host,
Thom Hutchinson. Now his microphone's been unmuted as well.
Oh, sorry, mate, I forgot to do it. Right, listen, I'm going to start us off with a little song, just as sort of pick me up to. This is really high energy sort of stuff. It's by Wolfpack. It's a band I really love. And Tom, I don't think you've heard this. You've maybe heard it in the carpool on the way to the studio once. But anyway, this is Animal Spirits. Got to get those good vibes going.
This is a true love story song, a triumph in the glory song, with only one small caveat. This one hasn't happened yet. It's not the strongest narrative, but details are imperative. What matters is the way it ends. And they've got 16 mutual friends. It's not animal spirits, and it's not heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, song everyone knows. This is not animal spirits, and it's not heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, where the story goes. Now everyone seems unaware that these two are a destined pair, but I checked out their astral chart. This one is a work of art. Now I know she reads astrology, and he can't stand astrology, but he's quick with an apology when he wisecracks the zodiac. And he's got animal spirits, and he's got heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, song everyone knows. And he's got animal spirits, and he's got heartfelt lyrics. Put them together and you can hear it. Oh, where the story goes. Oh, whoa, whoa. And when the rising action rises, there is only one thing left, and that's the climax.
That is Animal Spirits by Wolfpack. It is an absolutely positive.
That is a proper feel-good tune, that is, I'm telling you.
Oh, it's a really good feel-good tune. And the reason we're playing a feel-good tune is because it's important to stay positive during this pandemic.
It's true. Well, I tell you what, I've actually got a little bit of positivity regarding the pandemic. Only a little bit. So I've just checked the daily figures for the day.
Okay.
So we've got confirmed cases 21,350, which now takes the total number of cases in the UK to 1.21 million. But the death rate,
which is
156 yesterday, 19 today. Not 119, 19.
That's really good.
Yeah. It's so we're out of the hundreds now. We're back down to 19. So we've kind of
done a good job then.
Yeah, it's starting to tail off. So hopefully
that's happened very quickly.
Yeah, that's like literally someone's put the handbrake on. I'm just looking at it now. So like for example, you have to bear with me. So if I got 3rd of November, 397, 492 was the day the day of the lockdown, wasn't it? Then we went down to 378, 355 on the 6th, shot up to 413 on the 7th, then 156, and then 19 today.
It's very good,
it's
isn't it?
hopefully this could be the start of something good. We hope.
Hopefully, we just
I
have
don't know what I'm saying like Dominic Cummings for. I have no idea. This could be something good with the hexagonal pods there.
You know what? For me, I don't think the new spitting image is that good.
It's not. I mean, it's like we said before.
Too hard.
Yeah, you can't. But also, you can't get away with half the stuff that you did back in the old show. That's the thing.
Which was the beauty of it because it was outrageous. That is humor is offensive, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's a fine line between just being outright offensive and then there's a good joke.
Well, I mean, have you seen the bit with Trump? Apparently, you know, when the spitting image called it and said that he was going to win the election, and it was like Mayor McCheeseburger, you know, President Mayor of McBurger Town, you know, the McDonald's mascot and all this sort of stuff. And he was so adamant he was going to win, and then when it kind of happened, Pence was already looking to go off to. I think it was Aruba or Panama or something like that. He was already prepared to do a runner as the votes were coming in.
Quite good, isn't it?
I know. It's isn't it just great he's gone? Isn't it just great?
You know what? It's the best news all year.
And I'll tell you what, I can give you a bit more good news if you want.
Oh, well, no. So you've got to stop. I'm just going to explode with happiness.
I know,
isn't it?
Ladies and gentlemen, Pharrell Williams, because I'm happy. No, I'm joking. He's not really here.
No, we're not putting that song on. That was overplayed so much. Can I just say?
Did you ever see the 24-hour music video that they did? Did you ever see that?
No.
It was a 20. So if you go on Pharrell's YouTube page, there's a 24-hour linked music video. It's basically that song on a loop for 24 hours, but it's different people singing it, and then they're either dancing to it, they're going for their day. It's a proper music video. But it's actually done. If you watch the whole thing, it's in hour sections. If you watch the whole thing together, it is 24 hours on the dot. I mean, exactly. Your silence says it all.
Sounds horrible, to be honest.
not if you're a fan of Minions, I suppose. But that's the thing. But exactly. But I tell you what. So I've got a little bit of positive news about our new nation's favourite sweetheart. You know, Captain Sir Tom Moore.
Lovely news. Now this is feel good.
Exactly. So unfortunately, we don't have Dame Vera Lynn anymore, but we do have Captain Sir Tom Moore, who is picking up the baton just as well. So basically, he's called on the country to stand shoulder to shoulder as England obviously is now in its second lockdown. So as we all know, he raised £32 million for the NHS by walking 100 laps of his garden before his 100th birthday, and he was also knighted by the Queen. So hello, Liz. And he's encouraging people to not get downhearted and to kind of bring back the old wartime spirit. So his charity, which is the Captain Tom Foundation, they've launched a campaign called Walk and Talk with Captain Tom. So the aim is to get as many people as possible walking and talking, spreading hope and easing loneliness. So Tom has spent this week actively speaking to lonely people on the phone, and he's also continuing to walk each day with his family. His daughter Hannah hopes that her father has become a beacon of hope, and not just here but around the world for people that are suffering the virus. So he's encouraging people to get talking and to actually discuss things, because I think that's the worrying thing about when we went in the first lockdown. I mean, I know I work with a few people who have family members who sort of, shall we say, they suffered in silence, and they're very isolated. They kind of isolated themselves. So hopefully, with Captain Tom, he'll be the figurehead and actually encourage the nation to get talking and be a bit more proactive. I mean, we all know the story here. I didn't speak to my neighbours for 11 years when I moved down here, and then during lockdown, we kind of started doing the Motivation Street workouts and stuff like that, and people are now talking, and people are friends down here, and they live next to each other for however many years, and didn't do it until they all started jumping outside and doing burpees on a floor with a woman flapping a marigold around. So,
that's brilliant. Listen, I think probably speaking on the idea of exercise and mental health, I think it's probably a good idea if we, because we've got quite a bit of time to have a chat and stuff. I think it's probably quite important to chat about how to stay positive during a global pandemic. And I would say for a lot of people, this lockdown is worse than the first, because the government has made it very clear that if you cannot work from home, please go to work. But don't, by all means, enjoy yourself. Don't go to the pub. Don't go and have drinks with friends. Don't go outside at the weather. I mean, they've said you can go and do as much exercise that you want, but it's winter. And for a lot of people, going outside is just atrociously disgusting, especially during a British winter, may I add.
Although you say that, the weather's actually been picking up. Have you noticed since lockdown happened?
It's really warm, isn't it?
It's happened again.
Yeah,
we had terrible weather going into lockdown, and now it's picked up again.
We've had some of the best weather this year, and we've been stuck in our gardens for all of it. And if you didn't have a garden, you were stuck in your house. How horrible!
I know. That's the worrying thing. I mean, it's like, all right, in fairness, they could have used my place to film I'm a Celebrity this year, but no, they decided to go for a Welsh castle. But it's true, yeah. I mean, if you don't have a garden or anything like that, then you are kind of stuck, really. I mean, I know you get your hours exercise every day, but there's only so much you can do. But I mean, hopefully, as I say, we'll get Elise on within the next 2 weeks, and maybe she can come up with a couple of little things for our listeners to go over.
That would be really good, I think, because personally, I find home workouts devilishly boring, shall I say. I like going to the gym. I get in the mood to go to the gym. I enjoy paying for the gym, believe it or not. And I don't enjoy paying for things, but I enjoy paying for the gym. I don't think anyone enjoys paying anything for anything. But I enjoy paying for the gym because I get a lot back from it. And also I've got a student discount, so la-di-da. Nonetheless, I've gone on to Psychology Today, which I find is actually quite a good website for sort of controlling your needs and stuff. And it usually gives a lot of advice on many, many, many different issues that people may experience. But I think one thing that is incredibly important is I need to start by explaining that a lockdown is a complete experiment. It's never been done in human history. Telling everyone to go and stay in their homes for 3 months has never, ever, ever happened, ever. And as someone who has been in isolation while I had an adenovirus, which is not incredibly infectious, but not very deadly, a virus that you can get from conjunctivitis, and if your immune system's quite run down, then it can sort of knock you out, which it did for me, sadly. And I had cold sores all over my face, and it was really, really quite nasty. I was in hospital for 3 days, but luckily I was absolutely fine. But I had to stay in my house for a month afterwards. I didn't get to see anyone. This was right before my GCSEs. And what is not normal is normally humans on a daily basis will interact with we'll have 150 average social interactions a day. And that is the way that our society has evolved. That's the way we've evolved, we've incorporated social interactions into our lives. So when that's been cut off down to like 2 or 3, sometimes 0, with your own family, and you're confined as a single person or to your own family, it can cause real issues.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's only so much that you can get from like a Zoom online quiz or something like that. It's not really. I mean, I did a couple with my my team at Tottenham like there, and it's nice, but it doesn't really fix it. But then again, I mean, I sort of isolated for 4 years, so I was kind of self-isolating before self-isolating was cool. But it was, you need that little bit of physical interaction, or
you are very much,
or anything like that,
Exactly. You're very much left alone with you and yourself, and a lot of people don't find themselves to be great company. I mean, for a lot of people, being isolated from everyone for quite a long time can lead to a nasty, vicious cycle of feeling bad about yourself and then staying indoors because you don't feel like you want to go out. And
and you systematically pick yourself apart, don't you? That's the thing. So it's like, oh God, you've put on weight, or you've done this, that, and the other.
Exactly, and you're left with yourself. So it's important that when we are left in these situations, that we focus on what we can control. That is a very important thing. That's the first tip I've got from Psychology Today. And it says that fear and depression can make you feel powerless. And additionally, your anxious brain and depression can conspire against you to highlight how your life is worse and limited. You can't see your friends. The stock market's taking a nosedive along with your retirement. I'm so scared I can barely breathe. While you cannot control your feelings, your thoughts, or the actions of others, you are not powerless, and shifting your attention towards those aspects of the life you can control can help restore your sense of agency and self-confidence. So the things you can control, especially during this lockdown, and I advise, and I speak this as to people who live on their own with no flatmates or anything like that, is that things you can control are your daily and nightly routine, what you eat, what you wear. Just because it's lockdown doesn't mean you can't put an effort of putting on a suit, perhaps, like you'd normally work. Try and link yourself to a normality as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I make you right on that, because it's true. It's there's certain things I know that people were saying. There was a few around where I live who said that they didn't even have the urge to get up and have a shower or anything like that. And it's like, I know it sounds really simple and boring and mundane, but honestly, when I used to have a shower on the days when I really wasn't feeling good, just stuff like that, it used to make me feel, I feel a bit fresher now. And it even just give me that little bit of a kick up the backside to think, do you know what, I can go and do this now, or I can go downstairs and make some breakfast, or can go out and have a walk, or go get a paper or something like that. So even just those little bits, it's quite nice. Or just to text somebody as well. Just like, it doesn't hurt to text someone, just ask how they're doing. It's not all right. It's not the same sort of interaction. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Could you imagine if we'd have actually had a lockdown before, say, the invention of like FaceTime or WhatsApp Messenger or something like that? I mean, it would have been an absolute nightmare, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been absolute night. Do you know what, though? I actually just reminded myself, this isn't the first time this has happened. Apparently in New Zealand during the polio epidemic, that wasn't a pandemic. What they did is children were told to stay at home because they did not want kids getting polio.
Wow. So that was kind of like the first sort of unofficial lockdown almost.
Yeah, but it wasn't the same way as that all your homework was mailed home to you and then you'd mail it back at the end of each month.
Oh, right. So, yeah, I suppose because there's no other way of getting it done, really, is there? Because there was no Zoom or anything back in the day. So
exactly. But, I mean, we are very blessed to have such brilliant levels of technology, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we wouldn't be able to do this show like this, would we, if we didn't have it? Otherwise, I'd just be phoning in and spending 2 hours on the phone. Like, it wouldn't work to be able to see each other, to even to broadcast here. I mean, I wouldn't be able to. If I didn't have Wi-Fi, all right, it's not really working at the moment, but I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd be stuck to probably a dial-up phone line and things like that. It would have been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. And do you know what? Funnily enough, you talk about the internet and how useful it's been. The next piece of advice is don't use the internet. Which is, but mainly limiting your media intake, because I won't lie, is that humans are so attracted to... let's not sugarcoat this. Humans are attracted to drama. Humans are attracted to the big, bad, ugly headlines, because that's what's interesting. It sells papers. It's the positive news like this doesn't attract much attention. So it's really important that if you are somebody who's wary of your mental health, is to switch off the TV, switch off the news, delete BBC News from your phone, perhaps delete notifications. Perhaps that's what you really can be doing to sort of safeguard your mind away from sort of the bigger bad uglies which are happening in the world right now, which get sent straight into your home. And while we think it's just a photo, whatever, that it's not a normal thing you'd normally find out about.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, I put it this way: I used to try and limit during the first lockdown. I would try and limit myself to say about 10 minutes of news per day. I normally check it on the evening just to sort of see what the latest update was before the end of the night. But if you have it on for too long, it really does drain you, because you think, oh God, we're not going to end this. This is going to be forever and things like that.
On and on and on.
Yeah, but I think even just hearing that bit about the pandemic today, about the vaccines today, I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for myself, I just feel like not the biggest weight, but the tiniest little weight has just come off my shoulders a bit. Not that I have anything to really do with it, but it's nice to know that we could start looking at potentially going into some sort of normality from 2021, because when you see these things being rebooked, shows and concerts and sporting events, things like that, and they're all, oh yeah, we're going to do them in 2021. Well, it was getting to the point we were thinking, hang on, 2021 is only a few weeks away. It's not going to happen. And now we've got this this vaccine that could potentially be on the way. They could be happening. We could be allowed to go back out. All right, it might be still socially distant. That could be going for God knows how many more years. But it'd be nice to go and watch a football match or go and see a concert or something like that. It'd be fantastic.
A rugby match, you mean, Tom?
Yes, and a rugby match. Yes, seeing as the Six Nations only finished last week.
Yeah, that was a brilliant game, wasn't it?
I was working, but I was getting the results on my phone. Put it this way: this is how long it was. I was at the first match. I was at the first match in February. I was at England versus France for the Six Nations. Wow. And that was back in February, just as coronavirus was starting to happen, and France were taking it really seriously, and they were talking about their lockdown.
Yeah.
So we managed to get out there and get back just before it was starting to bite. So, and they've only just finished it now in October.
Crazy. Listen, it was a beautiful game, but me and Tom are going to now play the game of the capitalist society that we live in by paying the bill. Please stay tuned, as we'll be right back after this.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
People of Asian and Black ethnic origin are at an increased risk of COVID-19. Queen Mary University London has launched a research study called Covidence UK to find out why this is. If you are Black or Asian, we need your help to complete our studies. All you need to do is complete an online survey. Please help us to understand the coronavirus disease so we can develop tools to prevent it. Sign up at qmul.ac.uk/Covidence. Sign up and save lives.
This is a message from the government. The law has changed. You must self-isolate if you test positive for coronavirus or are told to self-isolate by NHS Test and Trace. If you do not, you risk a penalty of £1,000 or more. Testing and isolating are vital to stopping the spread of coronavirus. Because this is so important, the government is now providing financial support for those who need it whilst self-isolating. You could be eligible for a £500 support payment if you're on low income and are unable to work because you're self-isolating. Find out if you're eligible at gov.uk/coronavirus. Break the cycle of infection, not the law. Stay alert. Control the virus. Save lives.
Did you know that girls like Noura walk an average of 3 miles every day in search of clean water to support their families? Minhaj Welfare Foundation believes you can end the water crisis by building small and large-scale water projects. Your charity is helping improve the lives of communities living in the poorest regions of the world. However, more needs to be done. Support Water for All. Donate today. Call us now, 0300 30 30 777. Or visit us on minhajwelfare.org.
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah, and Aqidah, we endeavor to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals, and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrollment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Romford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
The new NHS COVID-19 app immediately shows me the risk of coronavirus in my area, so I can warn Mel.
It lets me quickly check into venues with a QR scanner so I can protect Alid.
It tells me fast if I've been in contact with other app users who have coronavirus, so I can alert Emma.
It helps me protect all my loved ones, even Auntie Sue.
The more of us who get the app, the better we can control coronavirus.
Protect your loved ones.
Get the NHS COVID-19 app.
Download now at Google Play or the App Store.
Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists. We do new boiler installations, full house central heating systems, underfloor heating, boiler repairs, boiler servicing, and gas safety certification for landlords. With some of the best prices in town, there's no job too big or too small for our qualified engineers. For a free, no obligation quote, contact us now on 07956 282 948. Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists.
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Hello, you're listening to Revive FM. My name is Henry Scott, and I'm here in the studio with
Thom Hutchinson.
Well, Tom's not actually in the studio; he's at home, but he's streaming in from home as we are abiding to social distancing regularly.
Yes, and hopefully it won't have to be like this for much longer. Because let's be honest, I want to be back in the studio.
Exactly.
I'm missing you, bro. Seriously, like I prefer being in the studio and not having this delay or anything like that.
Yeah, I miss you too, mate. It is tough, isn't it? But me and Tom are walking you through the toughness by giving you useful tips on how to stay positive during a pandemic.
Exactly.
In our new series, Positivity Pandemic Hour, which is name to be decided in coming weeks.
Yeah, probably when the lockdowns ended, but we'll see what happens.
Oh well,
we can still be positive.
Anyway, listen. I mean, Tom, what do you want to talk about, man? Like, we've got a good 20 minutes here. I'm thinking.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I knew there was. I want to bring up something that was you put on your Facebook page the other day about sort of professions that were really struggling.
Yes, yes. I'm glad you brought. I'm glad you brought that up. I was really moved by this because I think you are right in mentioning that, because a lot of professions have been hit quite hard by this pandemic. 4.8% of people are now unemployed. Unemployment's gone up by 180,000 people in the last 3 months. People are losing their jobs left, right, and center. And I would say that a lot of professions, especially musicians, have been hit very hard. But I think what's really important to mention is that there are certain professions which aren't, sort of looked at they're not. I personally don't think they've been given enough attention. And I would say that one industry that has a special place in my heart is the burglary industry. There's burglars up and down the country who have not received any government support, who have not received any support online, and I think not enough is being done. Since March, they've been out of work. They've had social distancing guidelines to abide by. What about a ban on? There's a ban on mixing indoors at the minute. Burglar.
Yeah, how are they supposed to get in? Yeah, it's terrible.
Exactly. Burglars can't go into your house anymore. It's against the law.
I tell you what, though, you say that. I mean, around here they're doing all right. I mean, my neighbourhood watch keeps coming up saying about there's car thefts and things like that. So around here, I suppose the figures aren't too bad. I mean, we had a video the other night of someone who was basically had their. I mean, don't feel too sorry for them because it was a Range Rover.
Obviously, no. I'm not really. No. By the way, can I just make a full disclaimer here?
We are joking here.
We are joking. In no way are we saying you've got to support burglars. Burglars do an illegal act, and it's actually quite bad for a lot of people. So
yeah, I mean, if possible, I was always on the side of that farmer from years ago. I don't really want to go into it, but I was always on the side of that farmer who took the burglar out. If you remember, do you ever remember that story?
Yeah, but do you know what I don't like about that in UK law is that it says it's supposed to be a measure of appropriate force.
Yeah, well, what's appropriate? Using a double-barreled shotgun.
A bloke's just gone out of your house, or let's say, for example, a bloke is in your house. You're going to use everything to stop him in his tracks and not let him escape as well. And
it's like that bit. Was it in Sherlock when Inspector Lestrade's asking, "So how many times did he fall out of the window?" It's hard to tell. I lost count. No, how many times did he jump out the window? That was it. But the reason I bring up about the burglary thing is, I mean, there's one burglar here who might not get Employee of the Month. A burglar who left behind a rucksack containing his name and address at the scene of a crime has been jailed for 4 years. So Malcolm Pike, who's 43, broke into a garage in East Herrington in Sunderland, and he stole £150 worth of cleaning equipment on March the 6th. As he was making his getaway, he accidentally left behind a bag which contained letters bearing both his name and his address. The information helped lead police officers to his home, where the stolen equipment had been found and left out in the open. Detective Sergeant Chris Reaper Smith, Raper Smith, I think it's actually Raper Smith, said Malcolm Pike is a prolific thief who was consistently proven to a disregard for the law and the welfare of others. Unfortunately for him, his latest offence, which was fairly unsophisticated, saw him leave behind a number of personal items which directed officers straight to his door. I mean, let's be honest, he couldn't have made it any more simple for him unless he left a trail of breadcrumbs. Stolen equipment has also been returned to its rightful owner. In addition to pleading guilty to the burglary, Pike also admitted another burglary, as well as 2 thefts of property in relation to what police have called a crime spree, during which he stole items of clothes from a family's washing line. Now, I think he might have a problem here.
It's like Slinky Malinky. Do you remember that?
No.
Do you remember Harry McClary?
No, I don't think. I think that one passed me by. That.
No, that was a great children's book. It was about, if we've got any parents listening, I'd seriously read your children Harry McClary. They're great stories about a bunch of pets. You got like what was his name? Sausage. It was a sausage dog, but his Rumble McTum with a Rumble McScrumble with a very low tum. or something like that. Harry McClary was a
Rumble McScrumble. That sounds like something completely different.
you know what?
Sounds like Captain Pugwash.
I'll find it in a sec. Harry McClary. But it's about these animals, right? And it's a bit like that. There was this cat called Slinky Malinky who would go and steal stuff.
I mean, I just don't get it though. I mean, how stupid could you be? It's either that or he was doing like a subliminal cry for help, because to leave your name and your address. But I love the fact they said, it allowed the officers to go straight to his door. Well, of course it did. I mean, what else were they looking for? A sat nav with the directions already punched in? You know, it was just ridiculous. But yeah, so he's now been jailed for 4 years. But I think he might have some problems. So I'm just adjusting my microphone because it's going a little bit loose here on the bracket. There we are. So that should stop it from falling over. But I think the fact that he was nicking clothes from a washing line goes to prove that he's not just a career criminal. He might actually have a bit of a problem, like a bit of kleptomania or something like that, because it's not normal, is it? I mean, you come in and go, you'd think, not that I've ever done this before, but you think, all right, TVs, games consoles, DVD players, small appliances, hairdryers, stuff like that. You wouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm just going to go and nick Mrs. Featherstone's, house coat off of a washing line or something like that. It's a bit odd.
Yeah.
So
I mean, do you know what I find quite strange is that thinking about burglary, right? It's quite a COVID secure industry, wouldn't you say?
Wait, hang on, wait a minute. So instead, what are you trying to say now? What, instead of getting jobs in cyber, we all now need to be getting jobs in burglary? Is that what you're trying to say?
Latimer's next job could be in burglary.
His next job could be raiding your fridge.
I just want to take. Let's explore this a little bit, right? I'm just thinking from a perspective of burglars, right? Yeah. From a perspective, right? They wear gloves.
Yeah.
They're not touching any surfaces.
They've got their own PPE, I suppose. Yeah.
They've got their own personal protective equipment. They've got masks.
Yeah.
Usually, and
have a work uniform. Usually a striped jumper. Or something.
Usually like a striped jumper, or perhaps, and they usually tend to bin their clothes afterwards and burn them. So no. And they don't tend to leave. They usually try not to leave much residue around the house. So, in large part, I would say burglary is one of those really COVID secure industries.
At what point do I have to openly admit I think we might have? I think lockdown after 1 week, we finally lost the plot. we're now talking about burglary.
We're having a very intellectual conversation, Tom. A very intellectual conversation. Do you know what another COVID secure industry? Tax fraud, because you can always do it from home.
Oh my god! I don't wish to be rude. I mean, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say we know it's your birthday tomorrow. Have you been hitting the stuff a bit early?
Absolutely, absolutely not. Absolutely.
You need to socially distance home.
My rule is it's got to be past 6 o'clock, and I've been in the studio since 5. So
it's past 6 o'clock here. So it's
I don't have a drink in the studio. Do you think? I'd love a glass of water, but oh well.
I'll join you with a glass of fruit juice, sir. So can I say happy birthday, Mr. Henry Scott?
Thank you very much, sir. I'm looking forward to celebrating my birthday. Actually, I'm hoping I can have a massive online pub.
That would be good. I mean, if you need a barman, I can recommend a few because we're all in lockdown at the minute. So,
well, that's what I'm thinking is because to be honest, that is the way around it, isn't it? If you want to have a birthday with like all of the people that you know, you've got to get creative. So I was thinking a massive online pub evening, and we'll all play like something like Cards Against Humanity or something like that.
That would be good. Do you know what? It's funny you say that. When we were on the break for Sky News, I was just having a look at my phone, and apparently there is a pub. I didn't see where it was. But they've tried to get around the whole takeaway drinks loophole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
as many have done.
They have. Excuse me. They put. By the way, that's not wine. I might add. That's Robinson's blackcurrant. In case anyone's
sure.
Just because it's in that type of glass, but still. So they've actually set up a landline phone in the car park. It's about probably 10 foot from the entrance of the pub, and you can ring up and order a pint to
yeah. I was in central London on Friday, and because that's where my school is, and I was coming out, and I was walking to Liverpool Street, and do you know, because I saw a takeaway pub, and it said there was this sheet at the front door saying if you want a drink, call up this number. And so, you know what they were selling? They were saying Guinness for 99 pence.
I very much beg your pardon.
Get a pint of Guinness for 99 pence.
Okay, I think you need to send me the message of this pub offline, and I will make sure that when I go on my next run, I know it's going to be about 8 or 9 miles, but I could probably do it for 99 pints of Guinness.
Yeah, 99p.
And boosting the economy.
For the price of a normal pint of Guinness, you could get 4 pints of Guinness.
It's actually all right. Do you know what? This is. I was going to say. Well, I'm just saying. You know, I'm prepared to help boost the economy with a 99 pence pint of Guinness.
You should have a new eat out to help out scheme.
Eat out to drink out.
Yeah.
Or drink out to help out.
Yeah, there we go. I was thinking how would that work?
About get tanked to say thanks. How about that?
That's actually a very good slogan. Thanks for saying things.
Thanks a lot, lad.
Thom Hutchinson is the Chancellor, everyone.
Thank you, sir. That's all I'm saying. When you come to
very lovely. He'll be here all week. See, the thing is, I like our second hour of our show because we're always coming up with interesting qualms and tribulations, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we had Make America Think Again. That worked. So now we get tanked to say thanks. And
America thought very wisely. So any US citizens, thank you very, very much.
Exactly. Now, and do you know what I was actually going to say to you? Now, this is very odd. I've just flagged up my phone here about the latest COVID deaths. And you know, about half an hour ago, I said it was 19 deaths.
Yes.
Well, for some reason now, Sky News has put up saying it's now 532.
What?
A bit of a discrepancy there, but
let's have a look.
It says that 532 people have died in the last 24 hours compared to 194 the day earlier.
Yeah, I've just actually. Do you know what? I've just seen that, and it's sadly that is the case. As we've got 532 deaths today.
Yeah, now that's a big jump. So bearing in mind we're supposed to be in lockdown, how's that happening? But it does make you think. Why is because I got the figures off of Google and they said it was 19. So
do you know what the sad fact of the matter is when it comes down to this kind of stuff is that with COVID-19, because of a 2-week incubation period, is we have to wait 2 weeks to see the time lag move on. So actions that we take now will take 2 weeks to be seen. So that's just the sad fact of the matter. So cases were rising and rising and rising prior to the lockdown, 2 weeks prior to the lockdown. Lots of places in the north where case rates were much higher than down in the south went into tier 3 lockdown. And then 2 weeks after that period, we went into a new lockdown, citing that cases are alarmingly high and stuff like that, which is actually why you've got coronavirus cases sort of leveling off now, showing the tier 3 lockdown did work, but the national measures still needed to be taken.
Yeah, so maybe I think what's going to happen is I think we when we come out of this, I think we're probably majority of the UK is still going to be into tier 3.
Yes,
as opposed to just going back to what we were before. And so in Essex, for example, we're tier 2. So whether that's going to be the case or not, I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we've got 3 more weeks of this, so hopefully it will start getting the figures down. I mean, I think they're saying the same thing with Wales as well, because they've just come out of their national lockdown. So they're saying they're going to have to wait a few weeks as well to see what's happening with their figures as well. So hopefully it will start making a bit of a difference, because I was really feeling good. I thought, oh, sorry, we've only had 19 deaths today, and then somehow it's gone up to 530 odd. So that's a bit of a worry.
Yeah, bit of a worry. Well, me and Tom are now going to tackle the checkbook by playing some advertisements. So I'm really killing you today, aren't I?
I'll get the shovel.
All right. Do stay tuned, as me and Tom will be right back after these advertisements. We're not going anywhere. Do stay tuned and keep it locked. Keep it locked on Revive FM.
क्या आपको मालूम है कि नूरा जैसी बच्चियां पानी के लिए रोजाना 3 मील पैदल सफर तय करती हैं? मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन को यकीन है कि आप छोटे और बड़े पैमाने पर पानी के मंसूबे लगाकर इस बहरान को खत्म कर सकते हैं। आपके एहतियात दुनिया भर के पसमानदा लोगों का म्यार जिंदगी बेहतर बना रहे हैं, जबकि अभी बहुत कुछ करना बाकी है। पानी सबके लिए के प्रोजेक्ट में हमारी मदद कीजिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org।
Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists. We do new boiler installations, full house central heating systems, underfloor heating, boiler repairs, boiler servicing, and gas safety certification for landlords. With some of the best prices in town, there's no job too big or too small for our qualified engineers. For a free, no obligation quote, contact us now on 07956 282 948. Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists.
Turkish Kitchen, the best Turkish food you'll ever taste. We only use the highest quality meat. Along with our mixed grill platters, we serve cold mezes, hot mezes, lahmacun, and a wide selection of fish options. To order for delivery or collection, call us now on 0208 507 8822. That's 0208 507 8822. Or visit us at 41 Ripple Road, Barking, IG11 7NT. We can also take group bookings and take care of all your party needs. The Turkish Kitchen, Barking.
As winter approaches, here's a critical reminder of coronavirus symptoms from Dr. Gupta.
The main symptoms of coronavirus are a high temperature or a new continuous cough or a sudden loss or change in your sense of smell or taste. If you have any of these, to protect yourself and others, it is critical you isolate at home, even if you don't feel too bad. And you must book a test immediately. Use the NHS COVID-19 app or go to gov.uk/coronavirus.
Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
Nitro Treats, the dessert lab where your treats are formulated before your very eyes. Keep cool with our flavoured shaved ice, or chill out with our exclusive Dragon Breath Nitro ice creams. Experiment with our selection of mojitos, or indulge in our traditional faludas or lassies. Visit Nitro Treats at 210 Ilford Lane, where our nitrologists remain ready to serve. Nitro Treats, it's nitrolicious.
This is an important update about coronavirus. To help save lives, new national restrictions are now in place until the 2nd of December. You must stay at home. Only leave home for food, medical reasons, exercise, education, or work. You must work from home if you can and avoid travel unless essential. Go to gov.uk/coronavirus for latest guidance and exemptions. Stay alert, control the virus, save lives.
Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences provides quality Islamic education for children aged between 5 and 15 years old. As well as teaching classical Islam, including Tajweed, Fiqh, Seerah, and Aqidah, we endeavour to equip children with essential Islamic manners, morals, and values. Here at MSIS, our experienced teachers create an inspirational learning environment where we strive to cater for the needs of every child. For enrolment inquiries, inquire in person at Minhaj School of Islamic Sciences, Monday to Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at 292-296 Rumford Road, or email admin.edu_London@minhajuk.org.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio. On your mobile. And online.
Hello and welcome back to Revive FM. This is your drive time hour, Newham. We hope you're all tuning and locked on 94.0. Remember to call in on 0333 444 0940. And it's time to welcome my wonderful studio host.
Thom Hutchinson.
Keep the rhyme. Sorry, mate. I'm getting there. And my wonderful co-host,
Thom Hutchinson.
There we go. I was trying.
I preempted it a bit too much this time.
A little bit, just a tiny bit. It's all right, man. No worries. Basically, sadly, me and Tom are coming to the last segment of our show. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want.
There we go.
Me and Tom have had a great hour and a bit, 2 hours with you guys.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some stuff before we tune out for the day. But I suppose mainly what we're here to talk about today is, to be honest, we've gone through the entire newsreel this week.
We have. To be honest, I was even just looking to see if there was anything else that I missed. There's a very niche subject of with regards to the Motorcycle World Championship that I watched, the MotoGP, that there's been a rider by the name of Andrea Iannone who's been banned for 18 months for failing an anti-doping test, but that's now, he appealed it and is now, just within the last hour, it's been extended to 4 years. So basically that is his career now over with, because he was trying to take, or he failed a drugs test after racing in Malaysia last year. And there was found that there was a steroid in his sample,
Right.
And he's trying to say that he's basically eating contaminated meat because in a world where or in a championship where you're trying to sort of save weight and things like that, why would you bulk up with a steroid? So he's basically just had his ban increased by the Court of Arbitration for Sports.
That is a shame.
To 4 years. Yeah, so basically he won't be able to ride a MotoGP bike now until 2024. So that's his career pretty much done with.
Yeah, which is a real shame. But I mean, if it necessitates it, do you know what? Speaking of doping, I had a thought the other day, right? So there's plenty of people at the Olympics, plenty of athletes, and they tend to be Russian, I might add, which get banned from the Olympics for doping, so, along with a lot of other British athletes. So occasionally you get the odd British athlete, the odd US athlete who gets done for doping. Now, I had a thought. Rather than ban them from the Olympics, why not put them in their own special category and see how far they can go?
So what? So basically, the ones who let's say on, I mean, I don't know.
Humans on super speed.
So what? We have like a Super Olympics.
Yeah. We all we have, and it's a bunch of a range of categories. So, because obviously humans have enhanced themselves, with modern technology, modern gym equipment. We really push the limits of what the human body can do in some instances by, lifting really incredibly heavy objects. So what does that look like when we're supercharged on performance enhancing drugs? I mean, just a thought, I'm not considering it in all seriousness because obviously I'm joking, but it does tickle the mind.
I mean, the only thing is that if you're having any sort of enhancement or anything like that, it would then, you wouldn't know presumably if you're going to be injured or what that's doing to you. And it's not just that. I mean, what it will have on, say, your cardiovascular system and things like that. So you could potentially, let's say you were doing jacked up powerlifting, for example.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go for 750 kilograms, for example. And the next thing you could break your arm, but you won't feel it because obviously you'd be so jacked up on it that
of course,
you're still going, probably doing more damage. So it's
it's an interesting topic of conversation. I like questions like that. It's like paradoxes.
Yeah, like like every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So it's kind of, if we didn't I always put it this way. I had one of those a while ago, and I was actually talking to Elise about it, saying if we, let's say for example, if we didn't have a lockdown, would she have kept her job? Would she have stayed in the gym that she worked at? Would she have met clients? Would I have been as friendly with my neighbours? So there's all little bits like that. I mean, even little things of like when I said to her about offering her a room because she'd had an arson attack at the place that she lived at previously. If that hadn't happened, or if I hadn't even gone into the gym one day, I wouldn't have met her. If it's all these different things
that led us where we are now.
Exactly. Yeah. So everything has a consequence. Sometimes it's for the good, sometimes it's for the bad. I mean, we've sort of seen that play out with Donald Trump over the last 4 years. That was exactly a consequence of that.
I mean, do you know what? The thing we must not forget about Donald Trump, and I know we said this earlier in the show, is that 70 million people did vote for him, which means 70 million people were happy with how he did in office, and 70 million people wanted him in office again, and they wanted 4 more years of Donald Trump. So I just, those are the kind of questions.
He appealed to some people, didn't he? That's the thing.
No, I wouldn't. Some is a bit of an understatement. He appealed to half of the United States.
Don't let me hear you say that, otherwise that'll be his next thing. I won it by half the vote. Half of America voted for me.
Tom, we'll get him down on the studio, won't we?
Oh, that would be great.
That would actually be pretty impressive. And do you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he would do it. As coming onto a little local UK radio station, we could get him to call in. Wouldn't that be that would be precious?
I mean, it would be interesting to actually interview a former United States president. And I just want to say the word former.
Former. Listen, you know what? Actually, do you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to put out a quick feeler and see if we can swindle. Yeah, just write a couple of emails, because why not? We probably won't get a reply, but who cares? Get him down, getting him on the show. As controversial a figure as he is, it would be good to talk to the guy and then speak to his minister. Because while we're small, it tends to be you get a lot of response from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of grassroots and things like that, and he can then spread his rhetoric and see how many people actually listen to it and stuff like that. But I mean, it would be. I mean, like they always say, you don't ask, you don't get. So it's worth it's worth a try. I mean, the way I think we're going at the minute, we probably can get sort of what's the name, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry on at some point.
Yeah, of course. Because just if you don't ask, you don't get.
Exactly. Well, you know, we're just saying that if you want to come on and talk about your stuff, because let's be honest, we know you've signed an £18 million deal with Netflix, so why not?
Of course. Now, I want to finish the show with a song, if that's all right, because there's a song by a band called the Mountain Goats, which was actually written quite a while ago. It was written back in 2005, and it never went viral. It never got any traction. But for some reason now, do you know what? It's the strangest thing. It's made sort of a bit of a weird comeback. And so it's called This Year, funnily enough. And there's this brilliant line from it, and you'll probably hear it towards the end of the song and during the middle as well. But it's called This Year by the Mountain Goats.
To the floor, headed north on Mills Avenue, and listened to the engine roar. My broken house behind me and good things ahead. A girl named Kathy wants a little of my time. 6 cylinders underneath the hood, crashing and kicking. Listen to the engine whine. I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me, I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me. Played video games in a drunken haze. I was 17 years young. Hurt my knuckles punching the machines. The taste of Scotch rich on my tongue. And then Kathy showed up and we hung out, trading swigs from the bottle, all bitter and clean, locking eyes, holding hands, twin high maintenance machines. I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me, I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me. I drove home in the California dusk. I could feel the alcohol inside of me hum. Pictured the look on my stepfather's face, ready for the bad things to come. I downshifted as I pulled into the driveway. The motor screaming out, stuck in second gear. The scene ends badly, as you might imagine. In a cavalcade of anger and fear, there will be feasting and dancing in Jerusalem next year. I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me, I am gonna make it through this year. If it kills me.
It's a real tune, isn't it?
I really like that. I do.
It's a really, really good tune. You've been listening to the Drive Time Show on Revive FM with me, myself, Henry Scott, and my wonderful co-host,
Thom Hutchinson.
Stay safe out there, everyone. This song was This Year by the Mountain Goats. Me and Tom will be seeing you next week. Stay positive. All of us will be here all the time. And just stay positive and stay safe. You've been listening to Revive FM. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.
For a unique bespoke cake made